a U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone near the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea, U.S. Central Command said. The drone aggressively approached the carrier with unclear intent and continued flying toward it despite de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces operating in international waters. An F-35C fighter jet launched from the USS Abraham Lincoln destroyed the Shahed 139 drone while the carrier was operating roughly 500 miles, 800 kilometers, off Iran's southern coastline. According to Central Command spokesman Captain Tim Hawkins, the incident caused no injuries to U.S. personnel and resulted in no damage to American equipment. The incident came shortly after Iranian forces harassed a U.S.-flagged, U.S.-crewed commercial vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. officials warned the developments could further heighten tensions between Washington and Tehran. President Donald Trump has repeatedly said military action remains an option amid disputes over protests in Iran and nuclear negotiations. On February 4th, Caroline Leavitt reiterated Trump's stance yet again.
Ron, given the recent news and what just happened, how much does this escalate tensions ahead of these critical talks that are happening with Witkoff?
Oh, look, I just spoke with Special Envoy Witkoff, and these talks, as of right now, are still scheduled. President Trump is always wanting to pursue diplomacy first, but obviously it takes two to tango. You need a willing partner to achieve diplomacy, and that's something that Special Envoy Witkoff is intent on exploring and discussing. As always, though, of course, the president has a range of options on the table with respect to Iran. As commander-in-chief, I think they learned that quite well last year with the strike in Operation Midnight Hammer, which was wildly successful and obliterated their nuclear capabilities. But those talks will continue later this week as far as we're concerned right now.
As the tensions soar in the Middle East over a probable U.S. strike, earlier satellite imagery showed renewed activity at two Iranian nuclear facilities that were bombed last year by Israel and the United States. Images show that roofs have been constructed over two damaged structures at the Isfahan and Natanz facilities, marking the first significant activity detected by satellite at any of Iran's damaged nuclear sites since Israel's 12-day war with Iran in June. Earlier on February 1st, Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei threatened the United States with a regional war if they decided to strike Iran. The Americans should know if they start a war this time, it will be a regional war.
As you can see, sometimes they try to stir up talk of war, saying we have such and such planes, we have this and that, we can do this. This isn't new either. In the past as well, the Americans have repeatedly threatened in their statements that all options are on the table. All options means including the option of war. They've always said all options are on the table. Now it's the same. They keep making these claims. But what did we do? We didn't back down. Our dear people of Iran shouldn't be frightened by these things. The Iranian nation is not influenced by these tactics. We do not shy away from standing up for what is right, but we are not the ones to start anything. We do not wish to oppress anyone, nor do we want to attack any country. But when it comes to someone who has the intention to attack, to cause harm, the Iranian nation will respond with a firm fist, let it be known. That is our style. Of course, the Americans should also know that if they start a war, this time it will be a regional war.
Reacting to Khamenei's threat, U.S. President Donald Trump said that if Iran doesn't make a deal, then the world will find out whether the Iranian leader was right or not. It sounded more like a threat and less like a welcome call to sit at the table.
Sir, on Iran, the Supreme Leader today said that U.S. attack could spark a regional war. Giving you response to that, sir?
Why wouldn't he say that? Of course you can say that, but we have the biggest, most powerful ships in the world over there, very close, a couple of days, and hopefully we'll make a deal. If we don't make a deal, then we'll find out whether or not he was right.
Earlier, Trump threatened Tehran over the U.S. military buildup near Iran and warned that big, powerful ships heading in their direction.
Sir, could you give us an update on where your thinking is right now with Iran, if you have made a final decision on what you want to do?
I mean, I certainly can't tell you that, but we do have very big, powerful ships heading in that direction, as you know. I can't tell you,
Okay.
But I hope they negotiate something that's acceptable.
Saudi Arabia's defense minister
backs off the strike, that will only embolden Tehran. What's your reaction to that, sir?
Well, some people think that, and some people don't. If you could make a negotiated deal that would be satisfactory with no nuclear weapons, they should do that, but I don't know that they will, but they are talking to us. Seriously talking to us. Look, we have a lot of things happening right now with Iran. We have a tremendous fleet going in that direction, and they're talking to us, so a lot of things could happen.
However, on January 30, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that the country is open to resuming fair and equitable talks with the U.S., but made it very clear that Iran's missiles will never be the subject of any negotiations, and said Tehran will continue to strengthen its defenses.
The Islamic Republic of Iran has always taken a responsible stance in using diplomatic tools to secure Iran's national interests and to safeguard peace and stability in the region. We are by no means willing to accept dictation or imposition. Past experiences have shown America's lack of honesty and goodwill when it comes to negotiations. Nevertheless, Iran is ready to participate in any diplomatic process that is meaningful, reasonable, and fair, and that takes into account our legitimate and legal interests and concerns. The Islamic Republic of Iran is prepared to re-enter nuclear negotiations. The Islamic Republic of Iran has never sought nuclear weapons, and such weapons have no place in our security calculations. And we have always been ready to build trust regarding the peaceful nature of our nuclear program. Throughout our history and continuing into the present day, we remain fully prepared and willing to engage in formal negotiations. If these negotiations are carried out on a strictly equal and balanced footing, founded upon our shared mutual interests and with deep mutual respect, if the negotiations, provided that the underlying conditions and frameworks are established in a manner that is both fair and equitable for all parties involved, the Islamic Republic of Iran remains fully prepared and willing to actively participate in these comprehensive talks and diplomatic negotiations.